Hi, more Cowbell, the Mississippi State podcast here on SEC Country. What a beautiful Monday outside. What's up, fam? What a beautiful Monday. What a beautiful day. What a great day to be a Bulldog. Mississippi State baseball going to Omaha, Nebraska. That's where they hold the College World Series every year, and that's where Mississippi State is going. My God, what a weekend. What a series. What a game. What a team. We got a lot to talk about. That should go without saying. What an absolute incredible run for Mississippi State baseball. Its fans, its players, its coaches. Everything has come together for a magnificent first week of June. Left for dead so many times. This team just keeps fighting and keeps fighting. We all could be left for dead right now because we were all up to 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. I think I went to bed at 3 o'clock Eastern time. Got up at the crack of 9, and here I am. Mississippi State goes to Omaha. Cole Gordon saved the Super Regional, says Richard Rife. Cole Gordon and others. Yeah, Cole Gordon was outstanding. He's been outstanding since like last Saturday in Tallahassee. Cole Gordon was outstanding. There's so many players. Billingsley gave you what you needed. Pilkington gave you what you needed. So many players. Mangum, Elijah McNamee, Rowdy Jordan was phenomenal this weekend. So much. You say Cole Gordon saved the series, and you're probably right, but you could say that about 5 other guys. Just ate my rally banana from last night, says Reed Burrell. Hail State and good morning from Baton Rouge, Jennifer Tipton. I'm tired and struggling at work. I think we all are, Jennifer. Luckily, since I've been fired, as soon as this show's over, I'm just going home. That's what I'm doing. I don't know that Henderson is the guy. I think Cohen is looking for a long-term coach. I'm not sure Gary is that guy. Carson Young, why do we have to do this? Why do we have to do this? I love you, Carson Young. But why come up and say, I don't think Gary Henderson's the guy? 8 hours ago, we watched Mississippi State go to Omaha. Let's focus on that for right now. Let's focus on that. Let's be happy. Let's allow ourselves as fans to be happy for just a second. God knows it doesn't come around as often as we want it to. Hail State from Grand Rapids, Michigan, says Timothy Powell. Look at the numbers here, Terp. My goodness.
Yep.
What a game. Dogs rock, says Genia Carpenter Smith. Love me some State, Mississippi State, that is. Carson Young says, ban me. I'm not going to ban you, Carson. I'm not mad at you. I just think, Plus, if I ban you, I'll never be able to unban you. We can't figure it out. I got Terp over there. I got Landshark over there. They can't figure out how to unban people. Ed Casilla says, Hail State from Orange County, California. Good to be a Bulldog this morning. It's good to be a Bulldog every morning, but particularly we got some good news last night. State fans are not good at being happy, says Martin Smith. I think, I don't think we're any different than any other fan base in that regard. Carson Young says, I somehow forgot coffee this morning. Barbara Madison says, way to go, guys. You make us proud here in Long Beach, Mississippi. Spring Hill, Tennessee, Hail State. Timothy Goldsmith. I think that's about 25 miles south of Nashville. Hail State from Cincinnati, Jim Call. Hail State from Houston. I went bananas last night, says Reg Callahan. We were all up late, weren't we? That might have been. No, that's not might have been. That was the greatest Super Regional in the history of college baseball. Period. You can't have a better Super Regional than that. A walk-off home run in the bottom of the ninth in Game 1. A walk-off home run in the bottom of the ninth in Game 2. An 11-inning game where both teams score 3 in the ninth in Game 3. Mississippi State beats Vanderbilt in one of the most memorable series of all time. And, of course, they beat Vanderbilt in one of the most memorable series of all time. Because everything this team has done has been memorable. The Elijah McNamee walk-off in Tallahassee. The 9-1 against top 10 teams. This team has been incredible. Incredible. Hail State from Titusville, Florida. Stacy Stevenson. Derek Myers says Vandy fans are mad about the amount of State fans over 3 games. Derek Myers. I don't really care what Vandy fans are mad at. They are enablers. They enable that idiot to whistle his way to fame and whatever. So I don't care what Vandy fans say. Listen, if you can't fill up more than half your stadium that's about the size of this Cowbell, you deserve whatever happened. And kudos to those State fans who filled up Nashville. Kudos to those State fans who stuck around till midnight and 1 o'clock in the morning cheering on their team. BW, you noticed all the SEC Super Regionals are going down to Game 3. Shows you how tough the SEC is. Jason Brinson. Well, I got to be honest, all the Super Regionals are really tough. I think only one, maybe 2. Only the North Carolina Stetson series and maybe Oregon State. Those are the only 2 that went 2 games. Washington, Cal State, Fullerton ended in dramatic fashion last night, as did ours, and now you got 4 today. 4 today. Somebody says how many SEC teams will be in Omaha? It's 3. There will be 3 SEC teams in Omaha, no more, no less. Later today, we'll find out if Florida or Auburn goes, and we'll find out if Arkansas or South Carolina goes. Both of those are tonight. Why are you yelling at me, says Derek Myers. I did not know I was yelling. I'm sorry. I'm excited. I'm fired up. State's going to Omaha. What do you want me to do? My hometown sending love from Ohio, Mississippi State. Joyce Young. Veronica Summers, Hale State from Coffeyville, Mississippi. Randall Collins says, my cousin was there and had to drive back to Huntsville after the game for work this morning. Well, that's not that bad of a drive. Hale State from Hazelhurst, Michael Clyburn. Wayman Hodge, who's your pick to win it all? I have no idea. Mississippi State? No, I don't know. State won't go there as the favorite, but hard to count anything out right now, right? The way this team is playing. Best loss of sleep ever, says Trish Johnson. All right, we got to get to it. So on today's show, we're going to talk about what happened. Amazing game, amazing season, amazing series, amazing team. I'll talk about that. I'll give you my thoughts. I'm going to reach out because we're going to celebrate on this show. We are going to celebrate as Mississippi State goes to Omaha. So to celebrate, I'll bring on a State fan in his own right. Brian Haydad of Bulldog Sports Radio will be here, and we'll celebrate together. At the end of the show, I will talk a little bit about the Henderson conundrum, about Gary Henderson and, the job he has done, the job he might be able to do in the future. I don't know. We'll talk about that. My thoughts have shifted on that a little bit, not a whole lot. We'll talk about that at the end of the show. And 2-minute drill there at the end of the show. Let's read a couple more comments. We won't see an SEC team unless we both meet in the championship, says Bobby Strickland. That's right. Our side of the bracket is set. The other side is completely empty. Our side of the bracket is Mississippi State against Washington, Oregon State against North Carolina. We know the path to playing for a national title will have to go through one of those 3 teams. The other side is completely empty. We don't have anybody in the College World Series yet from the other side. 3-day nail biter, says Lewis Rustling. And that's right. For 3 days, for 27 innings, 28, 29 innings, it was nip and tuck. It was close. I don't think any team led by more than 2 runs until the very, very end. Unbelievable. 29 innings, and it never got out of hand. How much for the Cowbells? Derek Myers, make me an offer, buddy. Make me an offer. Because you buy these, I take your money, put it in my pocket, I go right to Maroon & Company, they give me a couple more free bells. You can make me an offer. By the way, look at this ball and ass. I mean, look at this ball and I didn't get a lot of sleep last night. Look at this ball and shirt right here. Huh? The Mississippi State baseball logo. I got the baseball bells out today. I got the pinstripe. I got the lefty. It's a baseball kind of mood here on the show. Terp, are you ready?
Yep.
Let's go.
It's the More Cowbell Show, brought to you by SEC Country. And now, your host of the More Cowbell Show, Brandon Walker.
Woo! Hello, my name is Brandon Walker, and you are listening to More Cowbell, the Mississippi State podcast presented by SEC Country. We are here in the SEC Country studios in beautiful Atlanta, Georgia. Later this week, Mississippi State will be going to Omaha, Nebraska, because that's where you go to the College World Series. Mississippi State beats Vanderbilt in one of the greatest super regionals ever played in college baseball. They are headed to Omaha, Nebraska. What a day, what a team, what a night, what a super regional, what a series, what an incredible turn of events as Mississippi State heading to Omaha. Who saw it coming? I did, of course. That's not true. I didn't see it coming. This team was left for dead many times. I think of 3 or 4 separate occasions where they were left for dead by yours truly and by others. But they kept fighting, kept going, kept fighting, kept scratching, kept clawing. Now they're going to Omaha. We're going to talk about that on the show today. We're going to talk about this incredible team, these incredible players, this incredible fan base. We'll talk about all of it. I'll also have Brian Haydad on the show. Brian Haydad, a big-time Mississippi State fan just like me. We're not going to sit here and tell you sarcastic things. We're not going to tell you all these things and report this stuff and act like we're not fans. We are fans. And anybody who would act like not a fan is, well, he's lying to you. So Mississippi State going to Omaha. I'm excited. We'll have Brian Haydad here. He's excited. We'll have I'll talk about the Gary Henderson conundrum at the end of the show. I won't talk about it long. My thoughts have changed a little bit, but not much. We'll talk about that at the end of the show. 2-minute drill to close out the show. Let me do a little business first. Facebook.com/The More Cowbell Show. Please go like that page. I ask you go like that page. Soon SEC Country will be out of business. I'll be going to business myself with my own show, my own podcast, and that's where it will launch. Facebook.com/The More Cowbell Show. Give that a like. I'll skip over the rest of my business there, but I do want to say, if you're watching me on Facebook Live and Twitter, and you're watching me on, what's the other one? YouTube. Oh, hi. If you're watching me on any of those three, you can see that I'm wearing this beautiful new Mississippi State baseball logo polo, this Adidas polo that I got at Maroon & Company. Father's Day is coming up. Omaha's coming up. Listen, you got that T-shirt graphic for me? Mississippi State going to Omaha, and there it is. There's the official Mississippi State Omaha shirt with the Omaha patch. You can get that at maroonandco.com. That's online only, I think, at this point, so go check that out. That's a beautiful shirt, and please buy me one. It's a 2X. Go ahead and check that out. Maroon & Company, they got the best Omaha gear. They got the best Mississippi State gear, period, including this ball and polo I'm wearing. Now, Mississippi State, 0-3 after the first weekend, loses their coach. Mississippi State, 2-7 in the SEC, 14-15 in mid-March. Everything looks bad. Mississippi State comes into the last weekend. They need to win a couple of games against the number one team in the country to even get into the SEC tournament. They need to do a little work to get into the NCAA tournament. Mississippi State plays Oklahoma in the opening game of the postseason, loses 20-10. None of that mattered to these players. Not one thing I just mentioned mattered to these players. Despite a season that has had more ups and downs than a weekend at Andy Canizaro's house, this team continues to fight. This team continues to scrap. What an incredible accomplishment for Mississippi State to go to Omaha. I never in a million years, I am telling you this from the bottom of my heart, thought I would see this team go to Omaha. But here they are. Jake Mangum, Elijah McNamee, Rowdy Jordan, and the rest of them, they have absolutely shocked the world for what they've done the last couple of weeks. It's a credit to the team. It's a credit to Gary Henderson and his coaching staff. They got this team ready. Look at that picture right there. MSU Baseball tweets it out at 1:50 in the morning. Nobody puts Gary in a corner. Look at that picture of Gary Henderson celebrating. I don't really want to get into the Gary Henderson problem, or not the problem, the Gary Henderson situation right now. We'll get to that at the end of the show. I just want to talk about this team. I want to talk about this team that played in one of the greatest super regionals that's ever been. They had so much go against them this year, yet every time the chips were down, every time the chips were to the center of the table, they cashed out. Mississippi State headed to the College World Series. I really got to gather my thoughts on this, because what can you really say about these guys? I'm going to go ahead and tell you right now, it's my favorite run to Omaha ever at Mississippi State. Now, we've had teams that we expected to go to Omaha and did. We've had teams like 2013 that went all the way to the championship series. But as far as what they've done to get to this point, the memorable wins they've had, the Elijah McNamee home run against Florida State, the two incredible wins against Vanderbilt, it's my favorite journey through this tournament we have ever had. Just heroes on heroes on heroes. Jake Mangum, Rowdy Jordan, Cole Gordon, all these guys, just one by one, they come up. Luke Alexander with a 2 RBI single in the 11th inning last night. One by one, they come through and come up big in the clutch for Mississippi State. That's a team. That is a true measure of a team. When their back is against the wall, who steps up? How about all of them? All of them. Gary Henderson did an incredible job this year. We'll talk about the future later in the show. But for now, why don't we just marvel at what he has accomplished? Not a whole lot of coaches get to go to Omaha every year. Got one up the road who has a good team every year and chokes every single year. Gary Henderson, interim coach, now has as many College World Series appearances as Mike Bianco in 18 years. Think about that for a second. And I don't know if State can win this College World Series. What's the point of even thinking about that? All I know is this: they will not be the favorite, but you count this team out at your own peril. You count this team out. You want to get on it a little more quickly? You count this team out at your own discretion. You have a video for me? What's the video? Give me a video. Oh, yeah, from the game last night. Here's the final out.
Bouncing ball, slowly to first. Tanner Allen gets it. Tags the runner going by. Out recorded. Omaha. Here comes the Bulldog baseball team.
Man, that, woo, man, okay. Get me fired up on a Monday. Do you have the video of Jake Mangum also, or you didn't pull that one, did you? The other one where Jake Mangum's running in from center field? No, you don't. Even though I told you to. That's weird. That's weird because I had told you to do it, and you didn't do it. It's like when people told Ole Miss to go to the Super Regional and College World Series because they're number 4 and they refused to do it. They choked. So would you say that you just choked? Yeah. All right. You can tell I'm fired up. You can tell I'm having fun. You can tell this has been quite a weekend, Mississippi State going to Omaha. But I want to celebrate, and I don't want to do it by myself. I am a fan of Mississippi State. That's why I do this show. Brian Haydad is a fan of Mississippi State. That's why he does his show. We're not going to sit here and tell you we're not fans. We are. We're big-time fans. Brian, welcome to the show.
Hey, man, what's going on? Sorry I missed your call earlier. I was learning how to whistle na-na-na-na, 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 goodbye.
You know, I've noticed that every time I have you on the show, you always come up with a little lead-in joke where you say, I'm sorry I missed your call, but this. Is that your thing?
Yes.
You enjoy that?
You know, it's hit or miss.
This is a very vague question, Brian, but you answer it however you want to. How about this baseball team at Mississippi State University?
I'm out of words, man. I don't have anything less to say. They just continue to do things that don't make sense, much to my enjoyment. And I mean, it's been one of the most incredible runs, not just for baseball, but for Mississippi State sports in the history of this university. I mean, this is a team that had no business even thinking about the postseason 2 months ago, and now they're going to go and try to win a national championship in Omaha. It's just unbelievable.
Brian, we are State fans. You are one, I am one, and what that means is I'm 39, you're I think 53. We have both. You okay? We have both seen more. It's almost like we've been to war. We've seen bad things. We've seen too much. We have seen,
as Brent Hudson would say, unspeakable things.
We have seen unspeakable things in our decades and decades of following Mississippi State University. So, when Mississippi State went up 6-3 last night and then immediately gave up 3 runs, and it's tied going into extras, we all, me, you, and at least 80% of the viewers and the listeners out there, we all prepared ourselves for the worst possible outcome. What were you thinking when Vandy tied it in the 9th?
I went to acceptance as I tweeted. I stopped being nervous about the game. I just thought that it was over, that they would find a way to win, because at some point we were just going to run out of pitching. You know, it could have gone into the 13th or 14th inning, but at that point MSU would have literally been looking at thinking either, okay, can Mangum pitch, or do we try to bring Ethan Small back? We were just going to run out of pitchers at some point. So, and the way it played out there in the top of the 11th, look at who made the plays in that. Freshman, Josh Hatcher, Rowdy Jordan, Tanner Allen, Foscue gets the walk, and then Luke Alexander, who's been much maligned by certain people in the fan base, gets the big hit. It's just like a storybook ending. It was really fun. But to answer your question, when Vandy tied the game back up, I was just ready for it to be over at that point. I thought it was all over but the shouting. And again, I was wrong.
You were wrong. I was wrong. 2 hours later, it seemed like two days later, Mississippi State closes it out with 4 runs in the 11th. Brian, I've had a lot of joyful moments as a Mississippi State fan in my life. I really have. When they finished that game off, you've said it already, it's near the top. So my question to you is, where does this run really rank for you? I'm going to give you a couple of runs in recent history. Obviously, you got the 2013 College World Series when State went all the way to the national title series. You've got football 2014, which is unprecedented, 5 weeks at number 1. You got the 2 recent women's basketball runs going to a national title, but this one came out of nowhere more than any other. Where does this rank for you?
In terms of being unexpected, it ranks at the very top because, like we've discussed, in March, this team was basically given up for dead. They were 14-15. They were 2-7 in the SEC. They couldn't hit. They couldn't do anything. And you were just ready to find out who the new coach was going to be, and then move on into next season. So you mentioned those runs. Those were good teams. Those were teams you had expectations of. That 2013 baseball team, I thought they underachieved during the regular season, and they got hot there at the end. Football, I knew they were going to be pretty good. I think they're going to go to number one in the nation, but that season ended on a sour note. You lose to Bama, you lose to Ole Miss, you lose your bowl game. Even if this team loses to Omaha, it loses in Omaha. There's no sour note to this team. So, this might be the best. It's certainly the most enjoyable run that I can remember.
And it's not just that they're winning. All right, it's the way they are winning. The walk-off against Florida State, that's a legendary moment in Mississippi State history. It's the walk-off against Vanderbilt in Game 1. It's coming back in the 11th. I mean, that's the best Super Regional that's ever been played. I don't think there's any doubt about that. And Mississippi State won it. And I had resigned myself to thinking in the 9th inning, well, it's a great Super Regional. We're going to lose it. But, man, what a great season. But this team doesn't think like I think, thank God. This team doesn't go out there and think like you think. And they got it done. Jake Mangum, Rowdy Jordan, all these freshmen. I mean, it's just you said it earlier. I don't even have the words to put this into proper perspective, but it's just one of the most incredible things I've ever seen at Mississippi State University.
It's up there. When you think about where this team was after the first weekend of the season, you look back to that Monday. You're 0-3. You've lost 3 games badly down at USM, and then you fire Canizero. I mean, there were times where in this season where the team, if the team had just given up, I don't think anybody would have really faulted them. They would have been like, what can you expect? These are just polished kids. This is too much to throw on their plate. They'll reboot, and we'll be back next year, new coach, new stadium, and move forward. And instead, that didn't happen.
This season definitely started in a hole, or at least Canizaro did. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead. You all right?
I'm fine. I'm doing quite well.
So Gary Henderson. Gary Henderson. Let's not have the should he be the new coach. Let's not have that discussion. Right. Can we just take a moment, maybe take 2 days before we dive into that and say, whatever you think about him being the new coach, whatever you want to decide on that, you do that. You do that on your own. Gary Henderson has taken a team that was left for dead to Omaha. Can we appreciate what this man has just done?
Should be the SEC Coach of the Year. There shouldn't be any question about it.
We should be National Coach of the Year at this point.
You want to?
He should be National Coach of the Year at this point.
Yeah, I mean, you're getting to that point, yeah. Regardless of what happens today with Florida and Auburn, even if Florida wins, I mean, Sullivan's sort of got the Nick Saban thing going there where you expect them to win. Henderson, I mean, no, he's definitely the SEC Coach of the Year, and he's got a great chance to be the National Coach of the Year at this point. That's the other thing that makes it so improbable is that Gary Henderson, I think most MSU fans, when they brought him in even as the pitching coach, there was sort of an air of, oh, God, he was no good at Kentucky. What's he going to do? And all he's done is just taking this team to a College World Series. It was sort of funny. I tweeted out a link earlier today, a YouTube link from the opening press conference of the season when we had MSU Media Day for baseball. And Robbie Falk, good friend of yours, asked Jake Mangum about why he came back for his junior season. He'd been drafted by the Yankees. Why not just go ahead and go pro baseball? And he talked about, this isn't how I wanted to go out. I wanted to do this, that, and the other. But what's interesting about that is prior to that, or a little bit after that, I'm sorry, somebody asked Canizero about Gary Henderson, and he kept on about how lucky we were to have Gary Henderson on this man, how fortunate it was. And I was just thinking, boy, you knew what you were talking about, didn't you? Because it was incredibly lucky. If Gary Henderson had taken a coaching job this offseason, I think he had a couple of offers at smaller schools. I could be wrong, but I mean, what would this team have done? They needed somebody experienced like Gary Henderson to guide the ship through this, and he did a fantastic job.
He did. He did an absolutely fantastic job. That was, what can you say about him? One more question before I let you go. Mm-hmm. Mississippi State's not going to be the favorites in Omaha. Doesn't really matter. They weren't the favorites in Tallahassee. They weren't the favorites in Nashville. They're not going to be the favorites in Omaha. But as State fans, there is kind of a sense we are playing with house money because this team has done so much in such memorable fashion. But you can't put anything past these guys going to Nebraska and possibly winning this thing, can you?
No, if you want to bet against them, that's fine. You take your money and you do that. I will not be doing that. You know, anything is possible over there. They could go 2 and done, or they could win the whole shooting match. And I don't know what it's going to be. You know, the draw is not bad. Playing Washington first. Washington was a 2 seed. Pac-12 baseball is not the best baseball in the world. You're probably going to have to play Oregon State, and that will definitely be a very tough matchup. But, you know, I would probably think they might rearrange the pitching order again and let Ethan Small go to that game too, because I think you feel okay with Pilk in game 1. And if you can beat that, we always say if you win the first 2 games, you are really in the driver's seat. You're not going to have to play an SEC team until you get to the championship series. And if the seeding holds, you would be playing an SEC team that you're undefeated against. That you beat Arkansas 3 times, you beat Florida 3 times. So this team's going to have confidence in everything. And confidence is the one thing this team does not lack for. So they're not going to go in there with any other thought in their head than we're going to win the national championship.
That's absolutely right. Brian, thank you for being on the show. Listen, we didn't really accomplish anything today, but I'm feeling good. You're feeling good. Sometimes you just got to come together and celebrate what Mississippi State did because it was incredible. I appreciate you being on the show.
Sounds great. I'm going to go take a nap now.
Have fun, buddy. I'm right behind you. Not right behind him because I'm not going to be sleeping in the same bed because that would be weird. Woo, man. Let's talk about Gary Henderson briefly before I get to the 2-minute drill. I might preach a little bit. I just want to get this out. Going into the postseason, I thought the biggest issue with this team, the biggest issue surrounding this team, the biggest thing that would come out of this month was the coaching search. I thought, hey, whatever happens in Tallahassee, we'll win 2, we'll win 1, we'll win none. Whatever happens, as soon as it's over, we get to find out who the new coach, and that's the big deal anyway. I'd much rather know who the new coach is than win a couple of games in Tallahassee and not really go anywhere. Well, lo and behold, the team goes down and wins in Tallahassee, and then they go to Nashville and they win again. So I felt like whatever happened, whatever postseason success happened, it would ultimately be secondary in importance to the coaching search. That has flipped. That is on its ear. That is no longer true, if it were ever true. Maybe it was just me being a stupid, irrational idiot. That is definitely not the case. Because of this team, because of how far these freshmen have come, because of how Mangum coming back, because of all the roster you're going to have coming back, because of the way they have shown the toughness, and I'm just going to say it, the balls they have shown in this postseason, you have that entire roster almost coming back next year. I now think that the coaching search, it matters. It definitely matters. But I now think the coaching search, ultimately, the thing that matters most is the fact that State has a loaded roster with now championship experience coming back next year. This roster, Mangum, these freshmen, this pitching staff, they've proven they can win at a high level. They've proven they can win in high-stakes games. And Gary Henderson has proven he can guide them to winning those games. Whoever the new head coach is, he will be handed a gift. He'll be handed a roster that is ready to win and ready to win right now and used to winning. Now let's talk Gary Henderson. I have been steadfast in saying I didn't think there was any scenario that would lead to Gary Henderson getting the job. That was my opinion. I said it on this show time and time again. When people said, hey, Brandon, do you think Gary Henderson could get the job? I said, no, he could not. Gary Henderson is not going to get this job. Stop asking me about it. I said that over and over and over again. Again, I was probably being an irrational, stupid idiot at that point. I was wrong. I was absolutely wrong. It is not far-fetched to give Gary Henderson this job. I don't know who's going to get the job. I don't know who the new head coach of Mississippi State is going to be. But if the last 3 weeks were a job interview, Gary Henderson has knocked it out of the park. And it goes past the last 3 weeks. He had to guide this team through choppy waters. He had to guide it through really tough situations, and he did that. If Gary Henderson were to get this job, this is not Matt Luke going 6-6 and getting rewarded for winning a rivalry game. No, Gary Henderson is going to Omaha. Gary Henderson is going where every baseball coach wants. There are huge names, Schlossnagle and McDonald. Their asses ain't going to Omaha this year with more talented teams, yet Gary Henderson is. I don't know who the next head coach is going to be. But until our run in Omaha is done, I refuse to disrespect Gary Henderson by saying I don't think he can do it, because he can do it. Will he be the next head coach? We'll find out. But absolutely, he has earned the shot to be in that conversation, and we'll have that conversation when the time comes. 2-minute drill. Man, 2-minute drill. Number 1, I'm coming to you Facebook Live. Answer these questions. Name one thing. Name something in Mississippi State's athletic history that was more unlikely than this team's current run. Name one thing that has ever been accomplished in Mississippi State's athletic history that was more unlikely than this team going to Omaha. Please. David Ellis says, I'm just over here wanting a ticket. I think we all are. I'd go if I hadn't been fired. I'd like to have money coming in. Everyone forgets this team was ranked in the top 5 preseason. Jamie Rogers preseason, meaningless. MSU football getting to number 1, Jim Call. There's absolutely nothing that compares, period, says Jay Hammers. Michael Wright just gives me a bunch of periods. The bench mob getting a record deal, Rob Chittum. Oh, okay, I like that. 1980 over Bama, but that's a one-game scenario. Anything can happen in one game. Beating UConn, Steve Martin, again, one-game scenario, but I'll give you both credit. You're right. You're right. Those were very unlikely. He will be our Matt Luke. Hail State baseball doesn't need to settle. He makes way too many coaching mistakes. Billy Herbison, I feel bad for you, man. I really feel bad for you. Enjoy the moment. Enjoy it. The man has gotten us to Omaha. I don't know how many coaches in this country would have gotten this team to Omaha, and he did. Number 1 in football, says Jason Brinson. A javelin national championship, says Anthony Covington. There's magic in bananas, says Joan Card Bailey. Indeed. Whew. Number 2. What was your favorite moment of the Nashville Super Regional? And there's a bunch. There is a bunch. What was your favorite moment of the Nashville Super Regional? Corey Gargas asked, can this team win it all? Crazy to think that would even be a legit question. This team has come a long way. No quit. Matt Weisinger says, I've got great news. We're going to Omaha. Men's basketball team making the Final Four. We're still on the last one. Still on the last question. What was your favorite moment of the Super Regional? That's the question. The walk-off, says Ginger Tuck. Walk-off in the first game, says Michael Clyburn. Jake going all McNamee after the third out, says Willie Vanderbrink. Tanner's double in the 11th. He had struggled the whole weekend. He came up huge, said Carson Young. Jake Mangum running into the infield at the end. Carolyn Crane Lindley. That was incredible. That was incredible. Shutting up the Vandy Whistler, says Steven Stafford. And most people saying the McNamee walk-off. The slide at first by Rowdy. Mark Wilson, that is a very low-key great point. Rowdy Jordan hustling down that line and getting to first base and sliding in was huge. Huge. Rowdy Jordan was great all weekend. Number 3. If this current Mississippi State team was 3 outs away from a national championship with a 1-run lead, which of these pitchers do you want on the mound? If Mississippi State this year were 3 outs away from a national title with a 1-run lead, who do you want on the mound? The runner interference, says Jay Hammers. That was another low-key, very, very important. But that was a good call. It was an easy call. But this has been the greatest Super of all time, Billy Herbison? I definitely think so. Reeves Fancher just says bullpen. Come on, that's cheating a little bit. Alan Collins says Self. Reed Gordon says Cole Gordon. Rob Chittum says Riley Self. Ethan Small says Junior Ray. Cole Gordon says Tim Franks. Cole Gordon, Self. Riley Self had a bad day yesterday, but no doubt Riley, says Jay Hammers. J.P. France, says Michael Clyburn. Cole Gordon. So it's really split between Gordon and Self. Who would have thought after the Oklahoma game when we all derided the decision to put Cole Gordon in and not put in Riley Self that Cole Gordon would have emerged the last 2 weeks as such an indispensable part of this team? Cole Gordon's redemption story over the last couple of weeks is probably one of the best single-season individual redemption stories I can ever remember. Number 4. Name one thing in life more annoying than the Vanderbilt Whistlers. Name one thing in life more annoying than the Vandy Whistlers. I got nothing. I got nothing. Maybe dude's name Yancey. I don't know. Joe Goldman says Brandon Walker. That's not nice at all. That's not even kind of nice. That's just mean is what that is. It's mean-spirited. Jim Call says nothing. Junior Ray says Bear fans. Carson Young says people who like Creed. Willie Vanderbrink says our human resources department. Rob Chittum says the Dumb and Dumber most annoying sound in the world. Jane Lewis with the correct answer. Jane Lewis says the hottie toddy cheer. Amy Hall also says that. That's correct. That is right. Hottie toddy and Woo Pig Suey says Jay Hammers. Mark Wilson just says Ole Miss. That's also correct. Mosquitoes and it's close, says Martin Smith. John Policini says ex-wife wanting more money. I wouldn't know that either. Number 5. Give me the title of the 30 for 30 about this baseball team. Give me the title of the 30 for 30 about this baseball team. If ESPN were to do one, a documentary about this team, what would be the title? Everybody's saying hottie toddy right now. That's right. That's right. SEC country shutting down. Stacey Stevenson. That's a very good point. Redemption, says Billy Herberson. Left for Dead, says Michael Wright. Going Bananas, says Jim Call. Rally Bananas, says Ray Leno. Playing with Heart, says Carolyn Crane Lindley. Never Quit, says John McNeil. Scrappy Can Do, says Tim Franks. Rally Dogs Never Give Up, says Junior Ray. The Heart Attack Kid, says Jane Lewis. Mississippi Soul, says Russell Berry. Blake Thompson says this team is bananas. Blake Thompson also says delayed but not denied because Blake Thompson apparently thinks he can go twice. Team of Destiny, says John Stringer. One text message away, says Lance Chain. That might be the front runner. The little team that could, Josh Green. Just win, baby, Danny E. Pinter. Hit it and they never quit it, says Daniel Browning. You like that one, huh? All right, buddies. All right. That's Landshark. That's Terp. Wait, I'm just signing off on the podcast, right? Yeah.
Yep.
Facebook Live, I'll be right back to you. We'll spend a couple more minutes together on the podcast. Thank you for being here. Facebook.com/The More Cowbell Show. Please go like that page for me. morecowbellshow@gmail.com. morecowbellshow@gmail.com. If you want to email me the show and tell me how good I am, I would appreciate that. It would make me feel better this afternoon. Until next time on the podcast, my name's Brandon Walker. You've been listening to More Cowbell, the Mississippi State podcast presented by SEC Country. Hi. Oh boy, man, what a day! Bo Molinari's here. He showed up. He's here. All right. How much time we got? I need about 7 minutes. Bo, thank you for being here. All right, State fans. Bo Molinari, who's in the comments section. Bo Molinari is a Texas A&M fan, which I know shocks me that he's here because, reading is required, but he is here. He is here, and Bo Molinari is a big-time Texas A&M fan. Now, last week I did SEC Country Live, and I was on SEC Country Live, and I was talking about all the teams, and I was telling people how Mississippi State is going to be very good in football this year. And this Texas A&M fan, Bo Molinari, in the comment section, he believes Texas A&M is a better football team than Mississippi State. And I tell him, no, you're not. Texas A&M is a soft football program. They roll over and play dead every November. They are not a big-time contender in the SEC this year. You have no quarterback. You are not as good as Mississippi State this year. You don't have the talent Mississippi State does, and you have hired a good coach, but you're not ready yet. It's going to take at least 2 years before Jimbo Fisher gets going. And he acts like I have cussed his mother. He acts like there's no way little old Mississippi State can be better than Texas A&M, mighty Texas A&M, despite the fact that State's won 3 out of the last 4, despite the fact that we went out to that Cracker Jack Stadium last year and beat Texas A&M 35-14. I don't know why I said it's a Cracker Jack Stadium. It's a gigantic stadium. Starkel and Mon disagree, says Bo Molinari. Well, they can disagree all they want. They both suck at quarterback, so I don't really care what they think. They both played against Mississippi State last year and the combined score a whopping 14 points. What was the moment, Bo, where you thought Texas A&M was definitely a better program than Mississippi State? Was it a couple of years ago when you came into Davis Wade Stadium as the number 4 team in the country and got destroyed? Was it last year when we went out to College Station and beat you 35-14 and we're up 35-7 with 5 minutes left? What was the moment that where you thought, hey, this team that's getting its butt kicked is better than the team that's kicking the butt? What made you think that? Mississippi State this year in Starkville will beat Texas A&M by 3 touchdowns. And that's not – I don't feel like I'm being unusually confident there. Thank you for showing up, Bo. I do give you credit for that. Man, wait, don't we get an A&M at home this year? Maybe another whiteout? Maybe Nick Stevens. Jimbo got beat by 42 points to Louisville, says Junior Ray. Bill Hurt says Butch gets the job. Steve Smith, the pitching coach, goes with what he knows. Henderson only gets it if he wins it all. I can't rule out him winning it all. Can't rule that out at all. Again, Bo, thank you for being here. It's all in fun. I have no ill will towards Texas A&M. Just an underachieving football program, that's all. Ooh. What else you guys got to talk about? What else do you want to talk about? I'm not going to Omaha. SEC country shutting down. I need my money. I need it in my pocket. So I can't go to Omaha. I don't think he gets it even if he wins it all. Jay Hammers, that's a little silly. You're telling me if Gary Henderson wins the entire thing, wins the College World Series, something no coach, Ron Polk, John Cohen, no coach has ever done at Mississippi State. You're telling me if Gary Henderson did that with a team that is young, that he wouldn't be rewarded? If he wins it all, he is 100% the new head coach, and you'd be silly not to do it. Thanks, BW. I do believe that A&M will change the script on the MSU versus A&M series. Not this year, they're not. Not with 18 starters back in Starkville, not with Nick Markle and Kellen Mond or Bob Barkle or whatever you call him. Not with whoever you got at quarterback. You can say, oh, wow, we got 2 good quarterbacks. No, you don't. You don't have any. Kellen Mond can't throw. Nick Starkle can't run. Read what I said, Brandon. I don't think he wants it. Jay Hammers. We all say, I don't think Gary Henderson wants it. When did he say that? Like, I caught myself saying it last week. I don't think he wants it. But when did he say that? He's sure coaching like somebody that wants a job. Henderson gets a job, roll with him for a few years, and maybe hire away big name coach in a few years. Maybe. Where does Jake Mangum rank on the Mississippi State Mount Rushmore, or at least he's trending? Where do you think he could end up? See, that's tough, Josh Green. That's tough because Palmero and Clark are there. I would say unless you're doing players only, that Polk's there as well. It's a hard list to get on, I can tell you that, but he's got one more. He's gone to Omaha. He's gone to 3 super regionals. He's been the heart and soul of this team for 3 years. He's certainly got a discussion. He's got an argument. Umps were awful behind the plate. Indeed, they were. That strikeout call of Elijah McNamee might be the worst strikeout call I've seen in some time. If Henderson gets the job, then Cohen has lied. I think that ship has sailed, Junior Ray. I think it's clear that Cohen probably said some things he wishes he could have back. Probably. Unless there is a secret coach out there that fits the profile. I think Cohen and the fan base are just going to have to eat the words that Cohen said earlier. Brandon, I worked at UK when he was there. The people that are close with him have told me that he is looking to retire. You can disagree. I'm just telling you what those close to him have said. I'm not disagreeing. If you've actually heard it from people, then kudos to you. I have not heard it from – no, it's not time to wrap up yet. No, it's 12:29. I get till 12:30. All right. Man, fired up. Thanks, Bo, for showing up. Thanks, Mississippi State fans, for showing up. Did any other super regional team play 6 true freshmen in a game this weekend? Blake Thompson, I'm not sure they did. Vanderbilt, I've seen Vanderbilt fans saying today, oh, we lost, but we were a very young team. We'll be back. And I'm thinking, we won, and we're a very young team, and we're going to stay here. How about retiring the number 15 for all sports at MSU? Mangum and Dak are program legends. I don't think you're going to retire it across the board. I don't mind retiring numbers, but I'm not sure if you hadn't retired. Did we retire Clark and Palmero? I'm not sure if we did or not. But you got to be careful retiring jerseys. Bo Molinari, I expected some stupid comments, but I'll refrain from bashing y'all's players. Thank you, BW. I'll stay open to a wager on the A&M game. I'll give you 14 points. 14 points right now from Bo Molinari for $1 American dollar. $1. One genuine American dollar. All right. You got it. I could stay here and talk for an hour right now. I could stay here and talk all day. Mississippi State going to Omaha, Mississippi State baseball, doing what we thought was impossible, at least I thought was impossible a couple of weeks ago. But we've got all week to talk about it. We'll definitely do that. I'm going to go ahead and let you off right here. My name is Brandon Walker, and you've been watching More Cowbell, the Mississippi State podcast presented by SEC Country.